My dear friends and my fellow citizens and my colleagues in legal profession, once again, good morning to you all. Friends, I stand before you today to raise a question that goes to the very heart of our democracy. When the Election Commission of India called referee fails, the democracy suffers. When elections are underway in our country, every word spoken by those in power carries weight. Every action has consequences and every institution is put to the test. Recently, in the Tamil Nadu and West Bengal elections process, the campaigning, we found that we witnessed the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressing the nation during an ongoing electoral campaign. But let us ask honestly, was this merely a government communication or was it a political message aimed at influencing the voters? We are also seeing that many BJP leaders, when such speeches include attacks on opposition parties or invoke sensitive issues like women's reservation and communal overtones for electoral gain, it raises serious constitutional concern. And at that very moment, one institution is expected to rise above all. That is called the Election Commission of India. Friends, the Election Commission is not a silent observer. It is not a passive recorder of the events. Under Article 324 of our Constitution, it is the guardian of free and fair elections. It has got both the power and the duty to ensure that no one misuses official position or influence voters. So I ask, where was the scrutiny? Where was the intervention? Where was the Election Commission of India is functioning? Where was the courage to say that this crosses the model code of conduct line? Silence in such moments is not a neutrality. Silence is a complicity. Friends, this concern is not being raised only by political voices. Even the respected independent media like The Hindu, in its editorial titled Invidious Speech, has raised serious questions. It clearly pointed out that when powerful leaders make divisive or politically loaded statements during elections, the Election Commission's responsibility becomes even greater, not lesser. The editorial reminds us that the model code of conduct is not decorative. It is meant to prevent exactly this kind of misuse of power. And it makes one very important point. If the Election Commission does not act firmly and promptly, it does not just fail in enforcement, it loses public trust. Friends, in a democracy, trust is everything. If people begin to feel that the rules are applied selectively, if they feel that some are above the scrutiny, then the very foundation of free and fair elections is shaken. We have seen better days. We have seen stronger leadership in Election Commission. We remember T.N. Seshan, a man who transformed the Election Commission into a fearless institution. We remember J.M. Lingdo, who upheld the dignity of the Constitution even under the immense political pressure. They proved one thing beyond doubt. No one, not even the Prime Minister, is above the model code of conduct. Now compare that legacy with what we are witnessing today under Ganesh Kumar. When ruling party leaders use the abusive language against opposition figures day after day, where is the action? When the false narratives are amplified and distortions are spread, where is the accountability? But when opposition leaders speak, even their words are twisted, clarified, and yet subjected to scrutiny. What message does that send? Friends, let me give a recent example that raises serious concerns. There was repeated complaints by the opposition parties and even by several respected citizens regarding the politically loaded national broadcast during the elections by PM Modi. But what happened? No visible action, no urgency, no response. Now look at the contrast. A complaint was made by the ruling party against the opposition leader Mallikarjuna Kharge, alleging that he used the word terrorist against the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Even after a clarification that his statement was misinterpreted, the Election Commission of India moved quickly and issued notice to him. Friends, what does this contrast show? It shows a troubling pattern. When complaints are against those in power, silence. When the complaints come from those in power, swift action. This is not how a neutral umpire behaves. This creates a perception that the rules are not applied equally. And once the perception set in, trust begins to collapse. It sends a dangerous message that enforcement is selective. And selective enforcement is nothing but institutional bias. Friends, democracy does not die only through laws. It also dies through inaction. Another deeply worrying issue is the process of voters list revisions, these special intensive revisions. Said reports have emerged about large-scale deletion of voters, particularly from scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, backward classes, and minority communities. Let us be very clear, my friends. The right to vote is not just a legal formality. It is the foundation of our Indian democracy. To deny that right, directly or indirectly, is to weaken the sovereignty of the people. And who are the people? We are the people. Baba Sahib Dr. B.R. Ambedkar reminded us the constitution is only as strong as the institutions that uphold it. If those institutions fail, if they bend, if they hesitate or remain silent, then the entire democratic structure is at risk. Friends, an election commission that does not question the power, an election commission that does not act impartially, and an election commission that allows the playing field to tilt in favor of ruling party is no longer a guardian of democracy. It becomes a facilitator of its erosion. So today, the question is not just about one speech or one election. The question is, are we willing to accept a weaker democracy? Are we willing to settle for institutions that do not stand up for us? Or will we, as citizens, the ultimate sovereigns of this nation, demand accountability, demand neutrality, demand courage, demand that our institution rise to the standards set by our constitution, because democracy does not disappear in a day. It fades slowly, silently, when people stop questioning. Let us not allow that silence to win. Let us stand up. Let us speak out. Let us defend the constitution. Thank you, my friends. Jai Bhim, Jai Bharat, Jai Constitution.